this fortnight's building public call. We are simultaneously live streaming on X and LinkedIn, Binance Square, as it's now called, and TikTok by a second device. So we are restreaming everywhere. We've got a very interesting show lined up for you today. We have Simon from Timpy. So hi, Simon. We'll speak to Simon shortly after. We'll give you a quick update on all things Streamr app. Dee, do you want to say hello?
Yeah. Oh, I got this this hat on TikTok, this Christmas hat. But yeah, hey guys, what's up? We are live again. It is now episode 26 with Building in Public. And this is, I guess we've been doing the streaming video format for now. This is the fourth or fifth one we're doing. And it makes sense because, you know, we are live and we are building a live streaming app called Streamr app. We just kind of rebranded that. Maybe we'll discuss that a little bit and go more into the details about the rebranding and why we kind of did that quickly. Not too nuanced, but we're excited, and we're coming close to the holiday season, and as we kind of end the year, we got some really exciting things coming for Q1 of 2026.
Cool. Awesome. I think Petri's going to join us on this call as well. He's just running a little bit late, so we're going to let him in. So yeah, let me give a quick update on Streamr app and where we're at, and then we'll speak to Simon. So yeah, it's been one hell of a year. But what call did you say this was, Adib? How many of these have we done?
This is 26. We've done. Wow. We did like the first 21 or 22. I think first 21 were audio only, where we just did it straight through X. But as it just makes sense, the evolution of what we're doing is live streaming. So we had to actually get in the nitty gritty of it all and learn how to utilize StreamYard, how to utilize all these different streaming apps to kind of do our own product market research.
Yeah. Exactly. We're going to talk more about StreamYard later and how we can build a StreamYard-like product. Yeah, 26 shows, quite incredible. So we started these in kind of March, April time, I guess, or maybe a bit later than that when we launched MVP 1. And since then, we've launched MVP 1, MVP 2, the Streamr, what we call Streamr TV. And now we're going into the Streamr app phase. We're renaming it to Streamr. And the product we're going to launch come end of January or February in the new year, in 2026, is going to be called the Streamr Beta. We're very much focusing on the video conferencing use case. We've talked in this forum and in our blog posts and content about why we're going after video conferencing. We've been doing quite a bit of analysis in the background to understand all the different use cases that we could play in and which one we want to go after. And we think that video conferencing is where we want to start the journey. I'm not going to recap on all the reasons for that now because I've talked about it at length, but just to summarize, where we think we can do video conferencing better is we're more secure and we're more scalable than the incumbent video conferencing products and technologies that dominate the market, so namely Google Meet, Zoom, and a few others as well. Why are we more secure? Well, for a number of reasons. First of all, we're end-to-end encrypted by default, and second of all, we are serverless because we're built on a decentralized protocol network, that is Streamr network. And so therefore there's no middleman. So if you want to protect your IP or your confidential meetings from bad actors, then Streamr Beta is going to be the place to do that. So yeah, on the marketing side, hey Petri, how you doing? Welcome to the call. Petri, I don't think you've met Simon before. Simon's from Timpy. We're going to speak to Simon today.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
About a project that we're working on together, and yeah, Simon Petri's our CTO. So quick update on the sort of marketing side. We've been building sort of funnels and campaigns in anticipation of the launch of Streamr Beta. That's coming along nicely, and we're building capabilities in different acquisition channels, Google Ads, influencer marketing, digital PR, etc. And we're launching a new website as well, which will be hosted at streamr.com as we rebrand Streamr TV to Streamr. And then we've been working a lot in terms of the roadmap and the features as we launch Streamr Beta, because the really important, exciting thing about Streamr Beta is that we're going to monetize for the first time. So we're going to launch with a premium model, meaning that we're going to have this free product, and then there's going to be a premium version of that as well. And that pricing strategy is now put together, and we have a feature list against the free tier and against the premium tier. And to give an overview of that very quickly, in the free product, you're always going to get unlimited meetings in terms of meeting length, and unlimited meetings in terms of number of attendees, with up to 10 speakers per video conference session. And straight away, that makes us much more competitive than Zoom.
The audio is a little off, Mark. At least
it
for
really?
me. Did you guys? Now it's better. That was better.
Okay.
I think maybe you're like sitting on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's better now.
Okay. Shout again if it goes a bit.
We'll do. Yeah.
Off. Yeah. So unlimited meeting length and unlimited attendees. The free product is a key kind of strategic decision because we want to be competitive versus Zoom from day one. But we are also end-to-end encrypted for our video calls and for the decentralized chat application that sits alongside the video conferencing. That's very different from Zoom and Google Meet. They claim to be encrypted by default, but actually if you look into the detail, they are not end-to-end encrypted. The encryption keys are stored in the cloud. So if you want end-to-end encryption, you have to go and specifically select that, which 99% of users don't do, of course. So you have to ask yourself, why is that the case? So we've talked about that before in this meeting as well. And then at the pro level, you get a whole host of features on top. So we're building a privacy feature, which is about IP protection. We're introducing a broadcast booster feature. Now that's for entrepreneurs and small teams that want to broadcast to large audience sizes. It makes it more robust in challenging network conditions. We're launching a 4 times bandwidth saver feature, up to 30 gigabytes a month of encrypted video recordings, meeting passwords, and built-in payments via our Stripe payment rail. So that's all going to be at launch of Streamr Beta for the premium tier product, which we think we're going to charge about $9.99 per month for. And then as a fast follow-on later in the year, we want to introduce a multi-streaming solution, a bit like StreamYard, and custom meeting room URLs as well. So that's what the roadmap looks like for Q1. And Petri's working very hard with the team at the moment to get all of that delivered in Q1. So we're quite excited because it's going to be a pretty interesting product for our core personas. And so who are those core personas? Well, we think they're privacy advocates who are very concerned about the security of their video conferencing content. And then there's a secondary persona as well, who's more like a kind of solopreneur or entrepreneur in a small team who currently uses Zoom and is looking for a better service. So that's someone like myself, for example. So yeah, just a bit of an overview there. We have talked about all these things.
I want to add something there, Mark. I think we're really hitting something there when it comes to the privacy concerns. I've been doing a little bit more research on that aspect, just in general, just because I saw like Tether, they acquired this privacy health AI company, and it's for consumers, but I believe this is more of a business opportunity more than anything. And the conference meeting aspect of what we're doing with Streamr app is going to be huge, because healthcare companies, bank institutions, I don't know if they can utilize the same type of AI, or not even AI, but the same type of business meetings and conferences because of the privacy concerns, especially in the EU, and all of that being on the cloud. So I think there's a really strong opportunity here for us to make a impact there, where there's going to be no privacy concerns when it comes to, or minimized privacy concerns when it comes to utilizing Streamr app for conference meetings and stuff of that nature. And yeah, that's probably the most interesting and appealing, as well as just the consumer app. But I think really institutions being able to use this tech is going to be huge.
Yeah. So a couple of points on that. First of all, if you look at video conferencing apps that monetize, like Zoom, the majority of their revenue actually comes from enterprise. Now, it takes them several years to get there because you have to introduce certain standards in order to engage with large-scale enterprise. So as we go to market, we're very much launching with the D2C model for the individual, but actually longer term, we've got one eye on enterprise because we know that's where you drive your average revenue per user, your ARPU. And so that's where we're going to go from a BD perspective in the long term. But that, I think, is increasingly important for the reason you just mentioned, Adib, is that corporations are becoming very concerned about privacy and security of their content. I mean, that is their IP. And at the moment, other players are getting access to all of that IP to train their AI models. And so there's this trend online at the moment of kind of no AI. So we'll start to play, we'll be playing a role in that space for sure. So yeah, all interesting stuff. So yeah, I think it's finally to mention before we sort of introduce Simon and start talking about Timpi, where we haven't got to in our thinking is like, what's the longer term strategy between going after a sort of product suite strategy, as I call it. So that might be we introduce video conferencing and then we introduce other serverless, trustless, secure and private products. And they might be email, calendar, password managers, etc. And that's kind of very much kind of like a Proton Mail type strategy. If you look at Proton Mail, they started with their core product was mail, and now they have a whole suite of products. The other way we can go is down the kind of super app route, we refer to it internally. Why super app? Because our core technology can unlock so many different use cases. It's really quite interesting when you look at it through the lens of video conferencing. And so we've got many ideas sort of in the backlog of the roadmap, which look like use cases outside of the immediate kind of use case of video conferencing. So, for example, multi-streaming in a StreamYard kind of fashion. We're going to bring that up. We're going to introduce that quite quickly in the roadmap, as I was saying earlier, but there's lots of other use cases like that. So we kind of, as we go through the course of 2026, we start to monetize and we start to see the data, we're going to make this decision as to whether we go after other products or whether we're going after this kind of video streaming super app type proposition. Anyway, lots in there, lots to discuss in 2026 and future building public calls. And yeah, we're very much looking forward to the next stage with Streamr Beta. Cool. Before I introduce Simon and we start talking to Simon, Petri, was there anything you wanted to add to that, or all good from your side?
Yeah, I think you covered most of the topics. Of course, there's this update on the development that is going on. So we now have this video conferencing video feature working. So we have we have basically the same experience as a Google Meet, that you can join with video, and it will appear in these boxes, and when you close the browser, the box will disappear from the other side and so on. And now I'm working on adding the audio there, and it's good to remember that we are not working from scratch. So we have already this audio pipeline implemented in Streamr TV, but now it's just repurposed to be used in this video conferencing mode. So that's what I'm currently working on, and hopefully, and actually definitely on Friday we will have an internal demo event where I will show this first version of the teleconference happening on Streamr.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited by Friday, Petri. Maybe if it goes to plan, then we do a little external stream afterwards or in the afternoon. Let's see how it goes, but maybe we could give a sneak peek on that. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for the update, Petri. Right, over to the meat of today's discussion. Yeah, so we're going to speak to Simon from Timpi. Hi, Simon. Great to speak to you again.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to see you. I assume that's a background behind you rather than your actual house, because it's.
No, this is the grand piano that I own that I can definitely play.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't ask me to play it right now. Yeah, no, definitely a background. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so Simon, how about just kick off a quick introduction to yourself? Like, who are you? What do you do? What's your background?
Yeah, I mean, I got into machine learning. I come from a physics background, but I've always had a bit of I've done a lot of work on consciousness, which is a bit of a strange thing for a physicist to be doing. But one of my favorite physicists is an English guy called Roger Penrose, which I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he teamed up with an anesthesiologist, and he crosses a lot of the boundaries between physics and human consciousness. And the reason I mention that is just that was really my motivation. I've been interested in that for a long time before machine learning came back into the sort of the limelight in the past couple of years. So it was a natural sort of exciting progression for me to get into machine learning, which of course it has a lot of parallels on the discrete side of physics, and how potentially machine learning could be a huge part of our future and stuff like that. So that's how I got into machine learning, and of course the opportunity came up to join with Timpi and take care of their machine learning department. So that's what I've been doing for the past 9 months or so. So and I think there's a lot of synergy between what you guys are doing and what Timpi is doing. Timpi's got a lot of the same concerns around privacy, decentralization, and on the machine learning side, all of our stuff is, it's not centralized servers, it's all federated stuff. We've got a network of about 400 nodes with, that are hosted by essentially people that have joined the community, the Timpi community, and they get node rewards and stuff like that. So we've got a big variation in GPU capability across our network. We've got smaller 1080 GPUs that are doing sort of image processing. We've got high-end 5090s that are doing sort of some of our question answering on our search engine. Timpi, we have this Wilson guy that is our search response personality. So and then we've got a whole bunch of stuff in between. And so we've got this machine learning network that we can call on, and we've developed some software to remotely communicate with those units, and we've implemented a tool suite. So we can do all sorts of machine learning stuff. So we can gather data, we can filter data, we can machine learn on the data, and then we've got a presentation layer. So where we're sort of excited to work with you guys is, my ears picked up when you mentioned the personas, because that's what we were sort of talking about last week, where we've developed these like virtual personas, if you like. You guys have helped define some attributes or characteristics of a virtual person, and we've used that definition to analyze some of our discussions, because we want to know, obviously, what people, in terms of streaming, what people are talking about. So it's handy to have this concept where we generate this imaginary persona, and then we sort of analyze the data and sort of say, okay, this persona that has these concerns or desires for streaming capabilities, what conversations are they going to feel have some synergy with? And of course, we're using the machine learning, analyzing the sentiment of what's going on, and whether there's you guys identified, I think, like a couple of different personalities that we're interested in, and we ran the machine learning on quite a small data set for now, like 300,000 sort of conversations or something like that. And we presented, we ran it through a couple of our nodes so far, so we haven't done like real heavy processing on it, but we've got some output that's in terms of like a Neo4j graph type display, where you've got like a centralized node, which is the personality, the persona that I defined, and then we have links going out to the different discussions that particular persona would have been interested in and involved in. And so So then we use that to sort of drill down to sort of analyze where our, because the other side of what we do is we're putting the value propositions that Streamr has. We're putting that through like a Perplexity style sort of language model, and it comes out with 2 or 3 pages of, you know, recommendations of what people are most interested in, what they're looking for, where you would perhaps you know, you find the most energetic market, and all the different analysis that we do. But where the presentation layer comes in is that instead of just getting like a report like you get from Perplexity that just highlights a big, you know, it's got lots of advice in it that seems plausible, but you know, the challenge then is to be able to drill down in some way to say, okay, you're recommending this, but where does that come from? Where does it stem from, right? And that's always a bit of the challenge with machine learning in general, is that it does this great job of going on this hyper landscape and pulling the, you know, averaging it all out and giving you the best recommendation. But you want to know, you want to get some feeling of what's behind this data, right? So that's where we've been, you know, doing a lot of work with you guys. So.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Simon. Yeah. So just to build on Simon's comments, yeah, I mean, some of you will have heard of the Timpy project before, because we've had Timpy on the show earlier in the year, and right. You know, we speak quite regularly. And then we had this idea, this thought a couple of months back is that, you know, we could analyze Timpy's data sets in order to help us make strategic decisions as we go to market with Streamr app. So yeah, we kind of floated this idea in one of our groups, and I think both Timpy and us at Streamr thought, you know, this has got massive amounts of potential. I just think it's a really interesting use case for 2 DPINs working together. Mm-hmm. And you know, so what's Timpy doing? Timpy is getting a lot of, well, it's indexing the web, and so it's got tons of data. Would you call that big data, Simon, or is that not the definition of big data?
Yeah, I mean, you can use that term, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got all this big data, and through the machine learning process that Simon was talking about, then we can really drill down into insights for different use cases and personas, and who's using different products for what persona, you know, against different use cases. What are the problems, and what are the products that are solving those problems for those users? So this is all kind of critical information as we go to market with the Streamr app. So yeah, very interesting. And just taking a step back, Simon, how does Timpy work exactly? Like, how do you get all of this data? Just for those that aren't so familiar with the project.
Well, I mean, the core product that we're delivering to the market right now is, of course, is a search index, right? So the Timpy, we've got different types of nodes. We've got collector nodes, which do the collecting. So they're actually, you know, they're building the Google style index of all the web pages, you know, the billions of web pages around the world. We've got, I think, about 500 of these collector nodes that go out and, you know, crawl around and get the URLs and sort of build this giant index. And then, you know, because of course the hope is that we will endeavor to have less bias than Google. Of course, there's a lot of stuff when you're doing search on Google that doesn't get presented to you because of you know, just the way Google operates and being the monopoly that they are, really. So yeah, we've got the collectors, and then we've got Guardian nodes, which we use for storage and providing this so that we can deliver this decentralized search capability around the globe. And then the final type of node we've got is the GeoCore as well, and the other one is the machine learning one, which is the one I work with most often. What we call them the Synaptron nodes. Yeah. So the Synaptron nodes provide our Wilson capability on the search engine. So we've got, you know, for the machine learning feedback, but it also does some of the what we call post processing of our index. So when we've got this index that we grab from the web, it's useful to use machine learning to be able to provide things like translation, better summaries of what's on the web page, so that when you're searching for what you want, you get a more accurate summary of what's on there before you have to actually follow the link and go there. and have better classification of what the website is actually about, so that if you're searching for a website on a specific topic, you're not going to get, mixed results from other domains. So yeah, many different internal uses that we have for machine learning as well. But of course, the other side to it as well was we're trying to turn that into a product, because we think, it's going to be used. There's going to be lots of other use cases. So we've built a ton of tools around that as well.
Yeah. It's quite a rare thing for a company to have access to that much data, right? On the internet.
Yeah,
that
sure.
many companies that have indexed the entire web. It's quite, there's a lot of unique proprietary kind of value inside your data sets, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, no, that's right, and it's data that we our aim is to be like I say, a lot less biased. So it's I think it's real valuable. There's only probably 4 or 5 companies around the world that have indexes of that kind of size.
But that's the power of Deepin and working together. It's the decentralized network that was able to pull all that data together. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Of course, if it was centralized, there's no way we would have been able to afford to run the servers necessary to gather all this data and store it. And the same with the machine learning side. I mean, the capability that federated network gives us is much more than we could possibly afford to put in a data center. So
I mean, we talk about the commercial advantages of Deepin quite a lot, and because of the decentralized node base, you can deliver a lot more for a lot less, essentially. In our world, data propagation, we've done quite a lot of sort of desktop analysis, and we know that the cost of sending a gigabyte of data via the Streamr network is significantly less than if you went to a centralized competitor, like 10 to 50 times cheaper. So as we build Streamr app and we go to market with a video conferencing application, which is high payload data, one of our commercial advantages is that our sort of cost of service and our P&L is significantly less than if we were using centralized solutions. So
and you are much more resilient as well, right? I mean, being decentralized, one of the other huge advantages is you're resilient to one specific area going down and natural disaster or anything like that. You've got a natural resiliency there, which is great.
For sure. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Simon. And obviously, I know the answer to this because I'm working. I
have a bit of a question there. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just Deepin just seems like the best solution for all of this, right? For everything, especially what we've been seeing so many Cloudflare outages, servers getting whether it's getting hacked or going down or being put at a huge vulnerability, a ton of centralized servers or like AWS and Azure and these other big guys, but they figure it out. They always come back online. So I'm curious, I mean, maybe that I don't know, I don't want to bring up a whole new topic, but it's just dawns on me, when does this happen that these big players, which this is most of their money that they're making, right? This is most of their bread and butter for the most part, right? AWS and these other big guys like Google Cloud servers and stuff. This is how they make most of their money. Is it possible that these little guys, come in and disrupt what they're doing? Is there enough meat on the bone for us to be able to disrupt it, or is it something where eventually it's just so bad? The security is so bad, the vulnerabilities are so bad that we that people have to come on to Deepin. Is that the end game for Deepin, or is it a slow grind to get new users and stuff of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally machine learning in general, speaking just about machine learning, I think there's an inherent danger where you got centralization of technologies like this that could potentially become, it's the store of human knowledge, essentially. They've got all, these 300 billion parameter models, that and they can become biased in the same way, you know, and you already sort of see that. You know, you take some of these giant models from. We had a comment the other day because we were using Mistral for some of our Wilson answers, and we got some complaints that you guys. You've got biased opinion. Your LLM is giving us biased opinions about the French Prime Minister or something. Mistral's made in France, so it's got certain views that are embedded into the model, right? So, and the thing about these models is that they cost like tens of millions at least of dollars to retrain them. We've got this issue where they're monolithic, right? You get like GPT 4, 5, Llama 4, and stuff like that. And they don't, obviously we're bolting stuff on the side to keep them up to date, using this sort of what they call the RAG techniques, this retrieval augmented generation stuff. So, but the core models themselves tend to be stuck back at least a couple of years, So, it was the case for a while where models off the shelf, you could ask them questions, but they would only have knowledge up to like 2024 or whatever the cutoff is, right? So that's one of the issues with machine learning is that they're not easy to just extend, right? So yeah, I mean, going back to the
in order for
thing,
machine learning to
go on.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, carry on. Yeah.
I think
but I mean that's the challenge right now with and that's why I think coming back to the deep in stuff, I think you're going to see in the next couple of years you're going to see that there's going to need to be another a big leap in capability, and it's not going to come from squeezing the juice out of gradient descent, which is what currently everybody is doing, right? The GPT 4.5 and then every evolution of GPT and all the models, they're all like squeezing another 2 or 3% out of capability. So, and one of the things I think you're going to see that is necessary is some sort of hybrid technology, where and what I mean by hybrid is that yes, you're going to have these monolithic models that are the core of things, but you will have specialized models for programming, specialized models for all these different domains, and also other techniques that come to the forefront that fill the gaps that have been identified as missing in the current machine learning capabilities. Sort of like they call it like Hebbian learning, right? Where they're actually learning like a human does, And I think that capability is going to come. There's probably a research paper out there in one of the top universities that has got the seed of the idea in that, but it's going to take a couple of years to come to the forefront before that and so it's going to take probably another couple of years before we get to like what the industry is calling like AGI type capability, where they're truly going to be useful on another level. And you don't want those capabilities in the hands of 3 or 4 different companies, right? So
yeah, I've always thought that. Yeah, I mean, like the monopolistic or oligopolistic like position of big tech companies today is is quite alarming. And then we bring on these foundational AI companies, like the top ones out of Silicon Valley, for them to have ownership of that technology of AGI. That for me is a pretty scary looking future. Like I always think like we need to get to decentralized systems that can take that battle on head to head. So I don't see a lot in sort of decentralized AI kind of leading the charge at the moment. Nothing credible is coming to the forefront. Right. Anyway, so I don't know what your opinion on that is, Simon.
Well, what about who's leading the charge?
From a decentralized perspective, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, there's not that many people doing decentralized, to be honest.
No.
So,
but it's much needed, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So just to summarize what Simon and I are working on, and a couple of the other guys at Timpi and Streamr, we're looking at this data to find out opportunities for demand for Streamr app. specifically through the lens of video conferencing and other use cases as well. So we're always testing other use cases to see what demand and traction might be. So yeah, really looking forward to this. And thanks, Simon. Really appreciate it. I think, as I said, I think it's a really interesting case study for two deep-ins working together. So looking forward.
Yeah. I'm also more optimistic that, I'd like to see some of this stuff be, like leave it turned on is kind of the way I think of it, in terms of like leave it as a CTL, a continual thinking machine, so that, as the chatter is continuing on these platforms and as we're collecting and building our index, essentially there's no reason why we couldn't leave the machine learning and the models and the developed personas that we've put out there, so that, we're not just looking at getting a static snapshot of what the current landscape is in terms of what are the opportunities or whatever. But if we leave that on, essentially, then as time progresses and different trends come up and people are buzzing and chatting about different topics, then instead of just getting a static chart of where things are, we get more of a dynamic thing where we can see and maybe even identify where things are, do some predictive where things are heading, right? So that's kind of the way I hope that we're able to work with you guys. And,
So I love that idea, and then the build on that is we could add in our own data as a feed, so product analytics data from our marketing funnel, so we can add in all the insight we're getting on our side into this kind of dynamic system. Yeah, that's a new idea. We hadn't really thought of that before. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Simon. Yeah. Great for you to join us. Petty, any other questions for Simon?
I think I have a bit of a lag on my end.
Yeah, you've had sound issues throughout this whole call. I think it's either you or me. But anyway,
am I having it? Yeah.
Anyway,
maybe Petri.
Cool. Thanks again, Simon. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to go bed because it's getting. I'm on the east, so it's getting close to midnight here.
So. Time zone. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that. I owe you one this time. Thanks for coming today, and sleep well. If I don't speak to you, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, very nice to meet you guys. Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Cheers.
See you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cool. All right, guys. So I think I gave the overview of Streamr app and where we're at in terms of Streamr beta launch in January. Anything else we want to cover off today? Petri, you gave an update on the other things.
If I can add something, I know I think I have a bit of a delay, but you can hear me fine, or?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. No, I wanted to kind of on the Tempe partnership. Maybe what exactly? How does it help us, and how does it also like? Where does this like collaborative fusion come from, and the synergy come from? Is it we're utilizing their indexer for the full scope of it?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some weird audio from you, Adif. But anyway,
yeah.
Let me try and
maybe it's because I still have the TikTok.
Question. So the idea for this kind of project together came from a follow-up call after one of these Build in Public sessions. So they came on our show some months back. We kind of got to know them a bit better. They've been on a couple of times actually, and then we have a few follow-up calls in between, and they're explaining in more detail about what they can do in terms of getting data from the internet. So Simon was talking about they use their decentralized node base, 400 nodes, to index the entire internet, which is something in itself is quite impressive. We're starting much more narrow than that, so we're looking predominantly at social media data, Reddit, etc., and we're analyzing all of the threads in Reddit against video streaming. And Simon's running some machine learning algorithms to sort of, well, first of all, he's passing that data, and as in PARSING, which is structuring the data in a way that he can work with it, and then he's running some analysis on it, which I haven't seen yet. I mean, we're just starting this project, so in the new year we're going to get some insight in terms of where the big opportunities are, because it's quite hard for us as entrepreneurs and from a growth and go-to-market perspective to analyze the market and make really robust decisions about where the opportunities are. What does that look like at the moment? Well, we look at a lot of Google data that we can get our hands on anyway, and then we do a lot of desk research in terms of analyzing industries. What are the size of those industries? What does the competitor landscape look like? Where are the opportunities? Where can our technology play a role? That's the essential process until we get down to a place where we're really understanding the problems that we can solve with our product. But you're always trying to get more data, more insight to make those robust decisions. So that's where this project comes from. And
gotcha. So it'll kind of help with the decision-making process.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the whole idea. So
yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
Amazing.
Because I mean, if this works, then that's such a competitive advantage, in terms of go-to-market approach. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I also find the and maybe this is like a different topic. I think my mic is better now. No, or no?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Okay. I also find the interest of the SEO aspect. This is more on the marketing side, but the SEO aspect coming from AI LLMs, and I think that indexing possibly could help. I'm not sure how much they have to do with the standard layer of the internet. So I'm not too sure about that, but I think it does have. I think they're utilizing some legacy data, right? I'm assuming to index everything.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question though. So so AEO is the new kind of SEO, so to speak. But
like ChatGPT, all these Claude, all these other guys. These are great places to show up for us. People ask about streaming. Like, I want to live stream. Where's the best place to live stream? Where's the best place to decentralize live stream? Right. Yeah. So it can bring up a lot of information.
We'll feed that into the brief into Timpy. See if they can help with that.
I wonder if they can help with that. That's an interesting. Wonder if that's something that they do.
Yeah. 100%. We'll feed that into the brief to Timpy. It's a good build, Dave. I like it. I'm still getting some lagging, but anyway.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, I think I have a bit of a lag on my end.
Yeah, hopefully we can get this running on Streamr TV very soon.
Exactly.
We get rid of the lag. And by the way, considering this particular use case of multi-streaming, so we have some novel ideas about utilizing the operator nodes in this. As you might know, these multi-streaming systems usually work so that there's a server on the cloud, like this StreamYard definitely has, and this video is going there to their server, and it is processed there, and then it is sent to the different streaming services such as YouTube and Vimeo and LinkedIn and X and so on, and this and the standard protocol for sending this video to these services is called RTMP, and unfortunately this protocol is not supported by browsers. I mean, you need to. I mean, it is not WebSocket based. It's not WebRTC based, so the browsers cannot really do the sending of the video directly to these services. So this kind of streaming server is needed for doing this. So now, when it comes to Streamr TV and implementing this kind of multi-streaming functionality in Streamr TV. So we have had this idea that maybe the operator nodes could act as the multi-streaming server here, who would take the video stream coming from the user's browser and then forward it to the RTMP servers of these video streaming services that we are intending to multi-stream to. So this kind of ideas we have had, and I think this would also have this would be great for the tokenomics of the Streamr project also, because people are used to paying money for this kind of multi-streaming service, and it is natural because running this kind of server, it costs money. It's not free to run this kind of multi-streaming server. So I think we could sell this kind of premium package that includes multi-streaming that happens through the operator nodes, and we could then monetize the operator nodes for acting as the multi-streaming server.
Thanks for that, Petri. So I love this feature and line of thinking because, like you say, Petri, engages the operator nodes. So, the whole reason we're doing the Streamr app project is to generate revenue, and that revenue to go back and to support the operator nodes and the underlying tokenomics. And of course, as we can introduce features that use the operator nodes more, then it supports that linkage between the revenue of the application and the tokenomics of the network and the protocol. So at the beginning of this call, I was running through the features in the premium level of the pricing tier. And so, I was talking about meeting host IP protection feature, broadcast booster feature, 4x bandwidth feature. All of these things engage the operator nodes. And so then what Petri's talking about in terms of multi-streaming is another way for us to do that. So yeah, you can see as we build the roadmap and we build the feature set, it's delivering against the kind of use case of video conferencing and what we think that our core users are going to want. But also it's engaging the operator nodes at every opportunity, which is the backbone of the Streamr network. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if thinking about the technology here, I think we also have the strength that we are doing a lot of video processing on the client side. So this offering this service to the users by the operator nodes would not be computationally heavy, because the video processing has been already done at the browser in Streamr TV, and all that would be required from the operator nodes is network bandwidth for sending this video to these multiple streaming services. But what I have understood, this usually wouldn't be a problem, because people are usually running Streamr nodes in the cloud, in cloud services. So they have plenty of bandwidth available, and it is more like the CPU and GPU power that are lacking, but that would not be a problem in our case, where we do the video processing at the browser, because modern browsers are actually much better at video processing than server-side things, because we have these wonderful APIs that utilize the GPU nowadays, and the desktop computers and even mobile phones of today they have very powerful GPUs.
Yeah, thanks for explaining that, Petri. Cool. Okay, so I'm super excited by this.
If I may,
on Friday. Yeah, I'd love to
may add
see if we
something.
can keep the community somehow. But yeah, we can talk about that later, Petri. Yeah, go on, Adib.
Yeah, I know there's a bit of a lag. So, but Petri, what I'm kind of seeing here is we have two different dynamics here with cash flow revenue coming to Streamr. We have this possible upward demand of tokens for operating on the multi-streaming cast that it costs people to that's going to cost people when it's going to cost the network. Maybe there's more like details there and I'm not catching all of it, but essentially there's some demand there for the data token. And then there's also a business plan where people can get the streaming conference meeting app with Streamr app, right? I don't know if we went into that yet in this call, but so there's a couple different ways where we're now going to possibly generate cash flow and revenue and also token holder value. It seems like within the Streamr ecosystem.
Yeah. So I think all these use cases for the operator nodes, they kind of revolve around the same idea that okay, you buy a monthly plan like $9.90, and for that price you get a certain number of operator nodes who are able to help
Gotcha.
you in various ways, and one of these ways could be this multi-streaming. Another one that we already have, and that will certainly be released, is this that they will join your streams to support your streams with their bandwidth. And this third one is this IP address obfuscation whereby you use the operator nodes as kind of a proxy for connecting to the network. So yeah, so I would say that tokenomics wise, it is pretty much the same thing. You pay a fixed price per month and you get a fixed number of operator nodes to help you out with your different kind of streaming needs.
So like two different ways to bring some demand overall to the well, I guess one way for the data token, but then there's another way where we're generating some type of cash flow through the Streamr ecosystem.
Yeah,
or at least the Streamr app ecosystem.
Yeah, so we foresee that in most cases these premium plans they would be purchased using fiat, and of course how we will monetize this operator nodes is through data. So we need to buy the data off the market and pay it to the operator nodes. So that
Gotcha.
is kind of
okay
model.
So that's another upward. Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. Nice.
All right. Yeah, thanks, guys. What a terrible call in terms of sound quality. Can't wait to do this on Streamr.
Yeah, I don't get why it was so bad.
Yeah, apologies to the audience and everyone listening to this. It's been a bit stop-starty because we've had loads of lags in the audio, but okay. We'll try and do it better the next call, which is going to be in January. So yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks to the community. Thanks to Petri, Adib, and the team. We've been pushing really, really hard this year. We're making great progress. I'm personally really excited by 2026. It's going to be a big year for Streamr. So yeah, looking forward to it. Is it too early to
Here.
say Merry
It'll be
Christmas?
exciting. No. It's a good time.
Let me be the first. I'll say
45
it in,
days to Christmas.
yeah, I'll say it in Portuguese. Feliz Natal. Which is I'm terrible at Portuguese, by the way.
Feliz-
But there you go. All right, have a good one, guys.
Feliz Navidad. I'll say it in Spanish.
There you go. Thanks, man. Okay, guys. Speak
All
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.